welcome to this week's episode of GeekStorm. I'm Mike Harrison. I'm back after a short break. I'm alongside Mike Dukes today. Sean is off to a convention, so it'll be just the two of us. We're in downtown Kokomo at Pepper Whistle as always. It smells really good here. It smells like some brownies or something they've got going on back there. We'll do our best to muddle on as we try not to just leave the show and go down there and get something to eat. Last night, this is going to be a spoiler-heavy episode, I'm telling you, because a lot of good stuff's going on, and it's hard not to talk about it. So last night was the premiere of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Would have been a cool, maybe that'll be the sequel's subtitle or something like that.
They threw it in there at the very end.
Yeah, but I meant the title. But we both went and we saw it in different places. But what did you think of Godzilla?
Going in, I had read some reviews and I was iffy because I had seen a lot of people claiming it was kind of like Transformers. The first Transformers movie, you wanted to see Transformers, but it had a lot of human elements and not Transformers. That's what they said Godzilla was like, and it was, but it was necessary. And normally when I go and see a movie, I'm just a passive observer.
Right.
This time, I actually was kind of feeling the claustrophobia, the fear, and the panic. I wasn't sure exactly why this movie compared to any other disaster movie out there. I got that feeling. And I started thinking about it last night and this morning. Man of Steel, people complained about the end battle.
Right.
Metropolis got decimated.
A lot of violence.
We saw a lot of decimation in Tokyo, San Francisco here. I don't know if it was the particle effects or all the smoke, the debris, the dirt. It just felt real to me.
Right.
And that made it for me. It made it more real and made it more enjoyable. So then when Godzilla did come out, it was like, wow.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It was very much a disaster movie. It wasn't necessarily a Godzilla movie, although it was, but it was about everything that happened to all of us when all these monsters pop up. And I think what was great that they capitalized on under very unfortunate circumstances was we never really saw what something gigantic would look like coming down until 9/11. And when you saw that, you see everybody's seen the footage, the street level footage of just walls of smoke coming at you from as high as you can see. And that's just life on the ground is all of a sudden kicked up and it's coming at you. And there was a lot of that in this movie where things were, you don't really know what's behind the smoke, behind all the dust, and that made it kind of the claustrophobic effect that you're talking about, and it was very much a human element of this movie through the first two acts really. They kind of kicked you really. 10 seconds in the movie, they show you that old 1940s, 50s footage, and you see some monsters there, and you're like, that's cool. But then they pulled it back, and they stayed back for quite a while, which I think is good. They did a slow burn reveal of Godzilla for the most part throughout the movie, and I really think that helped because you don't get bored. As soon as you see Godzilla, then you're like, okay, what's he going to do now? And then the thing he does has to top the reveal, and then the thing he does next has to top the thing he does before. So it's good to have him towards the end of the movie, and so you're not bored with him by the time of the 2 or however long it was, 2 hours rolls around. So
and it's not as though Godzilla doesn't appear at all until the end of the movie.
Right.
Because I heard some complaints from people around me.
Yeah.
They wanted to see him fight.
Right.
And he did fight before the end of the movie, but it was only captured on, you would see it on someone's television screen.
Right.
And then it would go away from that, and I kept hearing people, what? Come on, show the fight. But the fights at the very end, especially Godzilla's KO on the, what are they called, Mutos?
Mutos. I was really happy that they stayed away from that, actually, because that's one of the things you think about when, in the older Godzilla movies, is the big wide shot with the cityscape and the two monsters, profile fighting, okay? So if we had seen that or more of that, which we barely saw any of it at all, it would have been for me, it would have been, okay, this is an updated version of that movie. This is better technology, so let's do it again of that movie. And I don't want to see that. I want to see something new and fresh, and I think we did. I think everything was pretty outstanding about this. The acting was pretty good. Bryan Cranston was only in it maybe the first 40 minutes or so. Yeah. Which is okay. He did a
key element though.
Yes. And it was good that they didn't have that expert that hung around through the entire movie because he's an expert on Godzilla. Okay, and they did have that at various points, but it was three different people. You know, it was Cranston in the beginning. He knows what's going on. Nobody else does. Then he kind of passes that on to his son a little bit, and where they're trying to get some information out of his son as to, you know, what Cranston saw before he died, or what he talked about before he died. And then he goes away. I was so happy that he went away in the movie. Now, I don't mean away from the movie, because Aaron Taylor Johnson is Cranston's son. He's in it quite a bit, almost the entire movie. Yeah. But as far as the plot line of big government and what they're doing about Godzilla, he goes away. They're like, okay, thanks a lot. Here, grab transport, take off. You know, go find your family, whatever. And they didn't keep him on as like you see in a lot of other movies where, okay, this guy's, you know, second build in the movie. We need to keep him, you know, involved in the plot. And all of a sudden, he's an expert in this or that keeps him
ranking the fellow.
Right. Exactly. So you didn't really see that, and then they kind of transferred that importantness or that mythology of the Godzilla over to the Ken Watanabe, and he became the guy. And it kind of shifted from science to this. Well, this is just kind of what I believe. You know, I feel like there's this mythology of Godzilla, and he's a protector, and he's gonna take care of these other two monsters. Godzilla got to be the hero, which was great, instead of you know, like the monstrous villain that was in the Roland Emmerich movie. And I give it like an 8 out of 10. I think it was really good. I probably wouldn't see it again unless I just went with some other friends, but I would tell other people to go see it.
I was impressed, and I mean the closest comparison we have recently is Pacific Rim.
Right.
Totally different movies.
Oh yeah.
This just had more heart, I think, a darker undertone to it.
Pacific Rim was an excuse to see monster fights, which is cool because we haven't seen that in a long, long time at that point.
People had seen that and were expecting that out of Godzilla.
Yeah. This was a disaster movie. This is what happens when us sitting here doing this stupid show and all of a sudden there's a giant lizard out there. What happens to us? How do we deal with it? My only, and this is super picky, my only complaint about it was there was that scene where that Aaron Taylor Johnson's talking to his wife on the phone and saying, "I'm going to come and get you. Stay there." I would be like, "No, get out of town. Everybody else is leaving. You should leave too. That would be a good idea. Why do I have to come and get you?" I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it heroically. I'm just saying you're in danger longer. The longer you're there, you should leave now. I'll meet you in Albuquerque. Whatever.
Yeah, they're evacuating. No.
No. My husband's coming.
Take my kid. I'll stay. I'm good.
Right. Yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. The relationship between he and his wife at times felt a bit forced. They cut back to her doing what she was doing, and, you know, glancing up and seeing a giant foot coming at her and running away. And,
right.
I don't know if we really needed that so much.
This is the most unrealistic thing about this entire movie, and this is a Godzilla movie. The most unrealistic thing about this entire movie is the guy, at the very beginning, the guy's coming back from a 14-month tour of duty, okay? He's there with his wife.
Yeah.
And then he gets a call that his dad is in jail.
And leaves.
And he leaves. And there's no mommy-daddy time.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't happen.
The kids put to bed. I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen next. Wait, the phone rang. Where's he going? What are you doing, guy?
Is he safe? Good, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll get on a plane tomorrow. That's how it would have.
I'll be right there.
Right, that's how it would have gone, but whatever. I would just say Godzilla's finishing move was pretty good. You know, I thought at first when he goes to reach for the monster's head, I thought
rip it open.
that's what I did too, because that's kind of a classic that old King Kong trick, and I thought, oh, that's kind of homage, but you know, I'd be okay with it. And then he did what he did. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
That was freaking awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, Godzilla, go see it. It just came out today as we tape this, so enjoy the monstery goodness. I'm sure we'll see a sequel pretty soon. Next, let's shift gears a little bit, and let's talk. Since we're in Hollywood, let's talk about this is all of the news, and when our kind of stuff hits mass media, I think it's a bigger deal, and that's the Batman picture that was released. I really liked it.
I did too.
And I guess some fans went in and did some colorization to it too, and I like that as well. So if that ends up what we see on the screen, that's great. Somebody did a nice mashup of that Bruce Wayne or that Batman pose with a back-to-back with a Superman pose and World's Finest on the bottom. I thought that was really cool. I really wish they would change the name to World's Finest. I don't see why they can't. Batman, Superman, World's Finest, or just World's Finest. I know they got to have those names in the title apparently for because they think nobody knows who Superman is and nobody knows who Batman is, so we got to throw their name in there. But yeah, the picture looked really good. It was a much buffer, beefier looking Batman.
It's very much a Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah, it seems like they took that and tried to make it a reality, which was cool. I was so happy not to see. I mean, you could see Ben Affleck doesn't look like that.
See veins in his
yeah.
arms. It's not going to pop out of that armor. So.
Right. So I was glad to get away from the armor. People could fart rainbows and somebody's going to complain about it. So you just have to.
How dare you fart rainbows?
Yeah, right. They smell like Ray G. Biv. So I think that this is just the first image. I think it's a great image. Again, we just have to reserve judgments on everything else until we see a little bit more of it. And that's the way it should be on everything. I know we come to places like this and talk, but I like to stay positive about that kind of thing, unless I see something horrible like your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that, where I'm like, no, I draw the line. Michael Bay.
The Batmobile is nice too. It's like they took the Tim Burton Batmobile and the Nolan Batmobile and just kind of
A
combined
little bit,
the two.
yeah. I liked it. We'll switch gears here and talk about some TV on the televisions. For those of you that has the televisions, there's a new show that WGN America used to be. Being from Kokomo, we're used to WGN out of Chicago. Well, they've started to not franchise, but they've started to what are they? It's seen in different cities, not just the Chicagoland area. WGN America. They have, of course, the word I'm looking for will appear right here.
We'll look that up and put it right there.
Right, I can't think of it right now. Syndicate. They've started to syndicate the channel. So people in California might see WGN America. They do. It's a cable channel like USA or anything like that. But this is their first. What I'm talking about is Salem. This is their first drama.
I mean, normally I've always thought of WGN as reruns
And Bozo.
and Bozo. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, Bozo.
Right. So this is their first scripted drama. It's called Salem. It's set during the Salem witch trials, which is a historical thing, a very horrible thing that actually happened. They've taken some elements of truth there and fictionalized it to make it entertaining instead of horrible like it was. So I've seen the first, I think, 4 episodes. Has there been 4 or 5? I don't remember. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 of them.
4, I believe. Maybe
Okay.
5.
And I've enjoyed it so far. It's not gangbusters must watch, but it's definitely something I'll when I'm looking for something to watch, I'll go, yeah, let me catch up on that. Not a lot of star power there. Probably the most well-known person is one of the lesser characters, Xander Berkeley, who plays the magistrate. He's one of those people you see, they're like, oh, I've seen that guy in that, and I've seen that guy in that. He's been in 1,000 movies and 1,000 TV shows. But
Shane West is the one I recognize.
see the guy,
John Alden.
John Alden. Okay, yeah, was he in like that?
League's of Extraordinary Gentlemen is the one I remember him from.
Oh, that's him? Okay. That is him. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that Skulls, the movie The Skulls, but the fraternity, college fraternity. Was that him too? It might have been.
I can't remember.
Yes or no? So anyway, it's a pretty good show. It's set in that era in this town of Salem. I wish they would give us a better idea of how big the town is itself, because sometimes it looks like kind of like a little village. Sometimes it looks like okay, so excuse me, the pastor, who's the main character, a guy from Fringe. He goes to this brothel all the time, okay? But apparently nobody sees him come and go out of this brothel.
And the funny thing is, if you know your history, Cotton Mather, he was the head of the witch hunts back in the day. He wrote Secrets of the Invisible World, the first well-published anything on demonology and witches. The character in this show, yeah, he goes to the brothel often, has his favorite prostitute that he always goes
Well,
to.
who doesn't?
Well, yeah. And it just makes you wonder, I mean, okay, the head preacher of this village, town, what have you, going nightly, more or less, and no one's really noticing.
Yeah, I mean, I realize it's a TV show. You have to think about budgets and things like that, and how big can they make it, and how big can they show. But I'd like to see a little more scale there to make that believable.
Well, I think another thing, during that time period, because of the witch scare, people were afraid to go out after dark.
Right.
So if he's the only one really going out, and plus if he sees you, that right there is automatic suspicion. Okay, why are you out? You're a witch. So you're probably going to stay away from him anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's all about kind of a bubble of suspicion and disbelief about who does this, who does that, and you have to. They throw in the fact that the witches are real. This isn't just about the horrible things that happen with people being accused of witchcraft when obviously they weren't.
There's some supernatural
Yeah, there are absolutely some, and some very, very good graphics, some very good special effects, both practical and computer generated. Makes it feels like a much more expensive show than it probably is. But I get the feeling that they've kind of just thrown all their money at it to see if they can make it go in this particular genre that they're really new to. Because we've just seen American Horror Story Coven. I think the originals has some witchcraft in it. There's a couple others that are out right now that are witch related. One just got canceled here not too long ago, and so that's definitely something that Hollywood or whoever has mined quite a bit. But I think that this is a pretty fresh take on it, and I like it. It's pretty good.
I was happy because obviously writer somewhere has done the research. It would be very easy to just cobble all religions and all beliefs into one thing. I think it was the last episode. A girl they thought was possessed. Nothing Cotton Mather could do worked. The father performed a Catholic exorcism. Now, Salem, Massachusetts during this time, these are Puritans,
right.
Protestants. They protested against Catholicism. So using a Catholic rite is a no-no. So Cotton Mather finds out that an exorcism worked. He's all happy about it. Then he goes to the lady of the town and explains that. She, of course, happens to be a witch.
Right.
He doesn't know it.
Right.
So she turns that around on him. How dare you use a Catholic rite and try to, use that in our town? How dare you? So suddenly he's having to back off and can't use something that could actually help him. The fact that they didn't just say, this is a normal biblical rite that we all use, I like that. It's historically accurate. And when you're dealing with a supernatural show like that, it's nice to have those little touches in there.
Speaking of that character, though, I think once per episode, we've seen somebody either hung or beaten or stoned or whatever for being a witch or for some type of witchcraft.
Being a witch. First episode, you had the guy on the rack getting branded with an F.
Exactly. Okay. So, but pretty terminal consequences every episode for whoever that episode's victim is going to be. This chick that is obviously, either a witch or a demon or whatever. I mean, she's obviously messed up. She's been here for like 4 episodes, and they're like keeping her chained to something for whatever. I don't get it.
Because she's possessed, supposedly she can point out other witches when she has.
Oh, she's like a metal detector. She's like a witch detector.
So if she was wonky, that's why people are afraid to be near her.
Right. That hasn't worked once so far. It's each time that character you're talking about, the witch, she has been there to, send some type of mental message to this poor young lady to go after somebody else, go after her enemy. Anyway, and those are all good plot points. I mean, that's stuff that at least it's not another CW young people, young angst. Witches who are just trying to get along and get, I'm so sick of that. Have you seen one CW show? You've seen every CW show.
We look good while doing
That's right, yeah. So, although there are pretty young ladies on this show. Okay. Next, how about Fargo? That's been on maybe 3 episodes as well, maybe 4 episodes. Now, this is one of those shows that you won't see, I'm 99% sure you won't see a second season of Fargo, okay? This is one of those shows, kind of like True Detective, that is a story in a bottle, okay? And so we get A-list actors to get in there and make this show, and then we're out. And a lot of, again, Hollywood type of stuff, but the Emmy people, a lot of the Emmy people that do weekly shows year after year, they're upset that those shows are getting thrown in for the same awards that their shows are because they're not the same animal. I kind of think they are still, but they're upset that they get these big Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson actors to go in and do these great shows and then walk away, and while they're still trudging away trying to use their B-listers and do the best they can. So but regardless of the politics of it, it's a really good show. It's very loosely based on what happened, but let me put that a different way. It's more truthfully based on what actually happened, less based on the movie, because the movie was loosely based on what actually happened. So it's been very good so far. It's got Billy Bob Thornton, who plays an excellent kind of psychopathic villain.
He impressed me. I watched episode 4 last night. All these characters, they're in Minnesota, they have these accents. And they're kind of Barney Fife.
Very much.
And I remember thinking, when I first found out Thornton had been cast, I thought he was going to be one of those characters. And I was pleasantly surprised he's not.
Right.
But then last night,
I know where you're going.
He has to pretend he's one of these people, and the way he just does this turnaround and suddenly gets this.
Oh, gee whiz, fella! I don't understand how.
That right there.
It was great.
That was amazing.
When you see an actor acting, Like he's acting.
Like he's acting,
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And he's great. He's it's one of those I think it's one of those characters where an actor's like I can just sink my teeth into this because because he goes from like smoldering psycho to like what we just said, goofy guy, to everything in between. And it's a really and Martin Freeman does a great job as this kind of just pent up, cowardly guy that William H. Macy did a great job with in the first movie.
Yeah.
Both great actors, and he does a really good job. And the thing is, he's the anti-hero. He's the kind of what the show is about. But he brutally kills his wife in the first episode. Okay, and it's not. Are we supposed to still feel sorry for this guy through what he's going through after he did that?
The thing is, he plays that character so well. You cringe watching him sometimes when he's interacting with people, and they're just kind of overshadowing him and kind of bullying him. You're cringing like, come on, guy,
Do something.
So the episode I was watching last night, he goes to his brother's house. His brother has all these guns.
Right.
He's like, which one makes the biggest hole? And then you got these slow-mo shots of him just...
Yeah, but his eyes are closed the entire time.
His brother's behind him going, yeah! But he's... It's hilarious.
It's funny. Very good show. It's on FX, so pick that up if you can. And I think FX probably still has, if you have to go to the website, they probably still have up through the premiere episode still on the website. So you can watch those, and it's good. I don't know how many, if it's going to be 10, 12, or 20. I don't know. But like I said, I'd be real surprised if it goes another season. I think it's going to be one of those finite story
I can
things.
see someone somewhere wanting to
Yes.
make another one for the money aspect, but
Right.
yeah. It'd be okay.
Well, I mean, we want to see another True Detective.
I would love to.
And you might with different actors, but you won't see that storyline.
I know
You won't
McConaughey
see those.
said he is not coming back.
Right, yeah. It's very much a message in a bottle type of thing. Next, how about Game of Thrones? Okay, last Sunday, a great episode. I was really surprised when Shay got up on the stand, and
I was too.
And so I'm sure we're going to find out more about that, about if she was coerced in some way, or if, I didn't really get the feeling when she left that she was mad at Tyrion.
I don't know, the way she was projecting some of her words, the whore,
Yeah.
and then she, look at him, the look she gave him, I didn't know, did Cersei put her up to it? Did she, I don't know.
Yeah. Tyrion's speech has been all over the internet, and it's the biggest deal about that episode. It's really good. It's one of those things you'll probably see on a poster at some point, and really good. I continue to like the guy who plays the grandfather. The grandfather, yeah. The guy who plays the grandfather. I cannot think of his name.
Tywin Lannister?
Yeah, Tywin, but I couldn't think of his name. He's great. He's that guy that is just such a seasoned actor that's been around for so long that whenever he's on screen, I'm like, man, I can almost see the other actors like looking to him and feeding off of him and trying to just absorb a little bit of what he's doing. He does a great job, and it's a really great show. Still, one of my two favorite shows that's on all year round is Game of Thrones. I'm really excited about it.
I'm enjoying it. I've only read, I think, to the third book in the series, and now the show is getting to areas I've not actually read.
Right.
So it's keeping the same vibe, same feel, but changing a few things up. So every episode is a little pleasant surprise
Right.
here or there.
My prediction is we're going to see because at the end of it, Tyrion asked for trial by combat. Is we're going to see a Jaime Lannister versus Bronn fight. Is I think what will happen.
That's what I was expecting.
And I haven't read the book, so I don't know, and I don't even know if this part is in the book. But I just started reading or listening to the audio tape of the first book, and I've decided what I'm going to do because everybody talks about them so much. So I'm going to read up to what's already been on the screen, but not go any farther. And I did that with Walking Dead. I just finished maybe 2 weeks ago reading up Walking Dead up through like issue 52 or something like that. But I stopped where the TV show stopped, basically, because I still like that surprise. I still like that surprise on screen, but I want to see what else happened too. So yeah, Game of Thrones is great. Let's see what else. Okay. Two and one, but Arrow had its final finale episode. Was really good. I really enjoyed it. They tied up a lot of loose ends, and they set a lot of things in motion for next season already. I just read today that John Barrowman is going to be a series regular on the show next year. He made an appearance there. I hope I hope he does more because Oliver's wife died, or rather his mother died, so that mature character's kind of gone. So I hope he feels that role rather than being in the costume too much, because he doesn't really sell it for me as Black Arrow. Really, I don't.
Yeah.
He's not athletic necessarily. He's kind of, which is fine. It's just the way he's shaped. But I mean,
that episode, you see like holes around his neck from his costume. Really?
he's starting to look a little bit like Rick Castle. You know, he needs to pull the collar up a little bit.
They're already calling Oliver's sister Speedy as a nickname.
Right. They did that. They did that from the beginning.
This would give you the excuse to teach her how to use a bow.
Yeah.
Go into that actual character in the name.
That'd be cool. That'll be cool. And I was glad to see that Roy got his kind of powers taken away, and he's just a normal kid now. And we'll see how he develops, or if he does.
You also kind of had the passing, in this case, passing out the jacket for Black Canary from.
Right. I don't know if we'll see that or not. I don't know if we'll see her in a costume, because I mean they went out of their way to say this is the Canary. You know, I mean she said that was her name, her League of Shadows name. They called her the Canary. So that's hard to.
I mean, they've shown Laurel knows how to handle herself. Did you hear that? What is that?
No, she's face down in the alley all the time. I don't know that she knows how to handle herself.
Early on,
She knows how to handle a bottle.
Okay, she knows how to handle a bottle. True.
And then at the end, or I saw it online, so I don't know when it was during the Arrow, but they had the Flash preview, or a Flash commercial rather, and then
3/4 through.
online I saw the full 5 minute that you linked on GeekStorm, 5 minute worth of Flash footage, and it all looked really good.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I'm not sure how long that Flash on the treadmill shot that they do is gonna work, if they need to come up with something different or not. But overall, it had a good feel to it. It looked like they've thrown some money at it. It looks like we're going to see those two characters from Star Labs, and they showed a little interaction between Oliver and Barry. That was kind of cool.
It looks like Weather Wizard is going to be.
Yeah,
to me, villain.
That's my least favorite of any of the.
Flash has a kind of quirky rogues gallery.
He does. But that just seems like this controlling the weather seems like I don't know, like a default go-to villain, you know, and
it is kind of an excuse to use particle effects,
Yeah.
and smoke and everything. I honestly, I figured Captain Cold would have been the first one.
yeah, I would think you would think they would set that up, make him really do something horrible and bad, and then go away for a few episodes, you know, make him, you know, his Joker, but you know they'll do what they're gonna do. Let's see what else we got going on here. Real quick, the season finale of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was really happy with the way the entire season turned out. It had its ups and downs, like most shows are going to, and typically most Joss Whedon shows start out a little slower and then catch on. And this one was no different. It kind of felt like it was waiting on Captain America to set it off.
Turnaround after Cap came out.
But they really did a great job with the second half of the season, and excited to see what happens next. It started at the end that season. That shot of Coulson writing all the weird hieroglyphics and whatnot. That looked like a movie to me. That looked like a movie shot, you know. And I think that's what people are going to be expecting to see. You know, the ratings aren't through the roof like on a lot of other geek type shows, but they're good for that time slot. They're good in that age group. They're, I think, number 2 in both those categories. So, you know, they don't get the Walking Dead numbers, but they do get very, very respectable numbers, and it was obviously picked up for season 2.
Plus, you've got the movie tie-ins. Now they've also greenlit Agent Carter as
Right,
a series, so
right.
that's a possible tie-in as well.
Yeah.
The way Marvel is creating this intricate web
awesome.
of the entire universe cinematically is freaking awesome.
It is awesome. It is awesome. There was something last night and today about Marvel doesn't own the movie rights to Namor. We've talked about that before. Universal does. But there's rumblings now about Universal wanting to get into the hero business and actually make that movie. And fortunately, talking to Zac Efron, which, you know, okay, he's got maybe a Namor physique, but I'm not sure about his acting chops. I don't really know if he's gonna be able to pull that off. And I'm not sure I want to see a young Namor. You know, I kind of want to see a mature monarch. You know, rather than.
I saw Efron's name for Daredevil.
Did you?
Instead of Namor.
I don't know. Well, they haven't cast Daredevil yet, and I think they're going to start principal photography really soon. So we'll hear that pretty soon. I kind of hope it's somebody that I haven't thought of, that is, out of nowhere name. It'd be kind of cool.
That'd be nice.
But it's an exciting time to be a geek, okay?
It is.
There's so much going on. There's so much TV and movie crossing, and if DC and Warner Brothers has even the slightest inkling of having a brain in their head, they can't follow the Marvel model now because they've already set things in motion, but they can at least, take Arrow and slide it in there, and take this Flash and slide it in there. There's no reason not to.
The fact that they've got Arrow, they've connected it to the Flash. If they have a separate entity for the movies, that's going to serve to confuse people.
Arrow is extremely popular.
Yes.
Okay, so
Did everything right.
why not use that? It's more popular than Shield was when Shield came out. Okay, so why not intertwine that in the movie universe? You're going to do it anyway. You're going to have Green Arrow. We're going to see a Green Arrow on the big screen. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. I have no idea, but it's going to happen. So why not use the one that's already there, that's already popular, and you've made him a star, so use him.
You can't say no, that can't be done. Marvel
Right.
has proven it over and over.
Yeah,
It can be done.
agreed.
And also, this is in the rumor mill.
Oh,
The guy who directed Chronicle, I can't remember his name.
I know who you're talking about though.
He let slip on Twitter something about Marvel getting Spider-Man back.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I know Sony, they're ditching their entertainment wing,
Mm-hmm.
but Spider-Man, that's like a cash cow.
Yeah, it wasn't a great movie, but they did make a lot of money. They didn't make Cap money. They didn't make Iron Man money, but they did make money. So it would be hard. But then but you never know. Marvel might say, "Here's a really big check," and you don't have to deal with it anymore, and we will.
They did with Star Wars.
It'd be great.
George Lucas had billions.
Right. It would be great to see that, but I don't know. I think it's far-fetched. Hopefully, we'll see in the future. Anyway, that's about all we have time for today. We'll be back next week. Sean might be back. He might not be back. I'll be back at least. I've took a short break, but I'm back for the next 6 weeks or so. And what's going on? Anything going on in Kokomo this weekend? It's been awful raininess.
The beautification planting downtown happens tomorrow morning, and then there's a dog and disc. I think it's like a national thing. They got people coming in from all over
Oh, okay.
Canada and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
That's going all day long at Darrell Chapel Park.
Is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
It is tomorrow? Okay, so now you have an incentive. You, producer Mike, have an incentive to get this thing on the air tonight, so this actually makes sense. Yep. All right, that's it for this week. We'll see you next time. Everybody have a good week.